This is a very different Jesus than what we normally hear about the Jesus who's saying, "Come to me, all you who are burdened and labor." The same Jesus who puts a sheep on his shoulders, the same Jesus who always comforts us. No, this is a Jesus who's talking about the end of things. He's talking about tribulations, and he's talking about things coming together and being very unpleasant. So, to confuse you even more, what does baking a cake, going for a run, and the end of the world all have in common? You don't know? I'm going to tell you. Ingredients, physical ingredients all coming together and then becoming something different. If you bake a cake, you have the eggs, the flour, the sugar, the baking powder, the chocolate, and it all comes together in a moment, well, many moments, of intense heat and intense cooking. But then, after that pain and heat, you have a delicious baked treat. If you're going for a run, you have to get running clothes, you have motivation, you have warm-up, maybe get up at the right time, maybe wait for the right weather. And then, after a period of endurance and sweat and straining your muscles, at the end, you have health and a sense of accomplishment. And the end of the world, we have the recipe, these ingredients in this gospel passage. We have scary things like a darkened sun, falling stars, and a fig tree. But after all these things come together, all these signs of the times come together, we have unity, we have God's kingdom, and we have everything as the way that it should be. So these end of the world times, these readings have always been troubling for me because, all right, Jesus is telling us you don't know when it's going to be, so you got to be ready. All right, Lord, I'll pray and get ready until then, but what about all the time in between right now and the end, tribulation? I'll just, keep reading the gospel, keep going to Mass, I suppose. No, I think his words, yes, they're talking about the final coming, the second coming of the Son of Man, but there's other different comings of the Son of Man. There's other tribulations that we have in this life. I think you're going to bake a cake again in your life, and if you're crazy, you might go for a run right now in the winter, or you might wait until summer. Or maybe another tribulation that you might go through over and over again in life is, for some people, getting up in the morning, waking up to your alarm clock. Maybe another tribulation that's going to take pain, suffering, and endurance is deciding whether you should go to a new job. Maybe it's trying to stand up for your faith in different situations at work, at school. But the thing that all these bring us is to the cross. The cross is the culmination of all these ingredients. We have physical ingredients, pain, suffering, betrayal, wood, nails, blood, despair. All these come together for a moment of intense fear and unknown. And then they bring forth life. They bring forth the resurrection, and they bring forth new life for every single one of us. Just like a cake and just like the sense of health and accomplishment after a run. And so what we are invited to do, while we wait and prepare and get ready for the final tribulation, the second coming of the Son of Man, the Son of Man is already here with us in each one of our tribulations every single day. So whatever ingredients come together, whether it be anxieties and pressures and stresses of the world that come together and start to weigh us down, we know the ending of the story. We know that the cake is going to come out of the oven. We know that the run is going to go well. And we know that at the end of the cross lies the resurrection. Just the same as we know once this final massive tribulation and end times and Son of Man coming again, we know the ending will be unity, and it will be completion, and it will be all that God desires. We should only fear the things he's saying if we refuse and resist these tribulations now in life. Remember, every gospel passage is good news, and this is good news. The good news and the tribulation we're about to go through right now is joining our physical bodies, joining our gratitudes, our thanksgivings, and our desires and our worries with the bread and the wine that's going to come forward from the back, come up here on the altar. And after a moment of lifting up and breaking, I'm going to break the main host over the chalice. And that moment is like the cake coming out of the oven. It's like finishing a run. It's like Jesus rising from the dead. All these moments, all these cycles of pain, tribulation, fear, unknown, always give way to new life, to new understanding, and to greater strength. This Eucharist we're about to share in together is fuel for whatever coming tribulations we may have later today, tomorrow, or at the end of our lives. And the Son of Man is already here. We have no reason to fear. Amen.